AutoCAD maintains a database of information about every object in every drawing. You can query the database for any of the information at any time using several commands, such as list, mass prop, or properties. Another way of displaying that information is by using fields. In this video, I will demonstrate how to insert fields that display several different types of information. Welcome back to Practical AutoCAD and Inventor, your source for practical solutions to your problems with AutoCAD and Autodesk Inventor. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe so you will be notified whenever new videos are published. Also, if you have any questions you would like me to answer, please leave a comment below. Now, on with the video. The use of fields in AutoCAD drawings can save an incredible amount of time by adding intelligence to your drawings. A field is a text object that will display any of the data that may change throughout the life cycle of the drawing and automatically update that information. Fields can be inserted into nearly any kind of text, including text in table cells and attributes. When any text command is active, the Insert field is available on the shortcut menu. So let's look at a couple of ways we can add that intelligence of fields to a drawing. In this drawing that I have on the screen here, I already have a block that includes a title strip. And I can add some information such as the drawn by and the title and the scale and the date and those kinds of things to this title block so that I don't have to do it over and over again every time I start a new drawing. To do so, I'm going to go into the block editor and actually add those to the block itself. So I come in here now and I want to add, for example, the drawn by field. I'm going to add a field in here for the drawn by. That's going to be the author of this object. In order to do so, I'm going to start off by using single line text just to show you how to do that. So I'll use single line text here. I'm going to turn my snap on. And I'm going to set my snap to a 1/16 of an inch just to make it a little bit easier for me to get this work done. So I'll say a 1/16 of an inch. So now it's ready to put my text in. I can come in and I can now select my start point of my text. I need to say L for left. So my start point of my text will be there. The height is going to be 1/8 of an inch, rotation angle of 0. And I've got my cursor now for my text, but what I want is a field. So rather than typing it in and having it be dumb information, I'm going to put in a field. I'll right click my mouse and you'll see here that it says Insert Field. Alternatively, I could have typed Control F. When I do so, it brings up this field dialog box and I'm going to choose All at the top and you'll see that the very first one is Author. So I'll just choose OK here. And you'll see that it puts in a series of dashes. It'll put in a series of dashes when the information that it's requesting is not yet present in the drawing, which is fine. I'll show you how to enter that author information in a few minutes. Since I'm done with this part of text now, I can hit enter once for a cursor return, enter again, and now you'll see that I've got the field in place. There's a gray box behind the text in the field just to let the user know that this isn't regular text, it's a field, it's got some intelligence built into it, so that you won't accidentally just erase it thinking that it's just unintelligent text. If I wanted to have the title, let's say I want the title of the drawing in this middle box, I can do that as well. This time I'm going to use multi-line text. I'm going to make my text box so that it is as large as that. I'm going to change my text justification to middle center. I'll change the height of the text to 3/16 of an inch. And now I can enter my field. Again, I could do Control F or I could come over here and I could choose the field button on the ribbon. It brings up the same one. And now what I want for this one is I want title. So as I scroll down through this list, you'll see there's lots of information in here. The one that I want next is title, so I'll click there. Again, I can choose whether I want an uppercase or lowercase or title case or whatever. When I choose OK, you'll see that it still puts in the 4 dashes there because this drawing hasn't been given a name yet, at least not in the place where it looks for this information. And again, I'll show you where that is. So now to save that one, I'll just click outside the box. And if I wanted to add one more bit of information here, maybe the date, again, I'll go back to single line text. I'm going to start right here. My height will be 1/8 of an inch, rotation angle of 0, Control F for field. And on this one, I have a few different options here for date. You'll see that there's a save date. And if I come back up here a little ways, there's one that says create date and those kinds of things. I like to use the save date myself because every time I save the drawing, it's going to update the field. That's the way I have it set up to go. You may have it as you may need it as a create date, like this set of drawings was begun on a certain date. So it'll look at the drawing file itself and it'll always have that date in there. So I'll choose save date. I could come over onto this side and I could give it whatever format that I want. So the regular regional short, way that they do it is the way I'm going to put here. I'll say OK. And now notice again that it has 4 dashes there. It's got those dashes because I haven't saved this drawing. As soon as I save this drawing, it'll fill that number in, which I'll do here in just a moment. So again, I can hit enter once for a cursor return, enter twice. Now that I'm done entering that information into the title block, I can close the title block, save the changes, and we're almost ready to go. Now, if I wanted to update these, let's save this drawing. So if I save this, I'm just going to save it on my desktop, and I'll save it as Fields Drawing 1. Oops. Probably should turn off my caps lock. Fields Drawing 1, choose OK, save. Notice now that it has changed the date, but it has not changed the title. And it's because it's not recognizing this title right here as this title. This title and the author information are not actually, it's not this title. There is a field that you could use for this title, but for this one I wanted to show another type of information. If you go to the menu browser up here, the big red A, you can come down to Drawing Utilities, you can choose Drawing Properties, and then right here on the Summary tab, I can put in a different title. So it does not have to be this title right here. Maybe I'm going to put in Sample Fields. Okay, and then again, author I'll put in as Joe Student. Choose OK, and now it'll update these again as soon as I save or regen. So if I save this again, Control S, notice now that it has updated those. A couple other places that are very practical for using fields are for a drawing scale. Notice right here there's a field for scale. I left it out. Before I put that one in, I need to draw a viewport. So I'm going to change to my viewports layer, and I'm going to make a viewport that is the same size and shape as my border and title strip here, so that I'm not going to have any geometry behind it. Okay, so there's my viewport. Notice that I changed that I have some geometry in model space. So I'm going to just jump in and change my scale a little bit so that you can see what's going on here. Now, I don't know about you guys, but there's been a lot of times where I've changed the viewport scale and I forgot to come back down here and change the scale in the title block. But that's no longer a problem if you do these simple steps. Again, we're going to add some fields. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to say, let's go to our text layer. And I'm going to add another field in. So again, I'll use the single line text and I'll say I want it to begin right here. I want the text to be 1/8 of an inch tall, rotation angle of 0. And I'm going to do the Control F one more time. So this time I want not all objects, but I want specifically an object. So now I've got options here. Do I want to count? Do I want area, formula, so on and so on? Actually, I just want to choose object. And if I change my zoom here a little bit, I actually want to use this select object tool. It's not very intuitive, but I'll pick that select object tool. I can zoom out and I can actually pick that viewport. Notice here that it tells me that I've chosen a viewport. And this is all the information that I could tell you about it. You know, what width is it, what visual style, what plot style, so on and so on. But the one that I'm really concerned with here is my custom scale. So I'm going to choose custom scale, and it gives me several different options here, you know, like 1 inch is equal to something, whatever. I'm just going to use the scale name. Notice right now it's not at any specific scale, so it's going to put it in there as a number. I'll choose OK. And again, it's still text, so enter once for a cursor return, enter twice to finish the command. So 0.0132 is not a great scale. However, now if I wanted to change that, if I jump into my viewport, I could come down here and I could actually set it at a scale that makes sense, like 1/4 of an inch is equal to a foot. Don't forget to lock your viewport. And now when I zoom back up on this and just do a region, RE, enter, now you can see that that scale has been changed to 1/4 of an inch is equal to a foot. A couple more things before we go. You can also get information about the objects in the drawing. For example, if I wanted to know the perimeter of the pool, or maybe the area of the sidewalk, I could create a little table and I could put that in here. I'm just going to do it with text just to keep things easy. So I'll say multi-line text. I'll create a text box. And now if I have it in here, I can say, okay, let's look at the perimeter of the pool. And I also want to know the area of the concrete. So again, those are both going to be text objects. While I'm in the text here, I will just go back up to the field tool. Again, it's already on object, so I will pick in this case, it's going to be the polyline that is the tool itself. I'll just click on it. You'll notice that it recognizes that I'm looking at a polyline, okay? And it's giving me all of the information here. Area is one of them. But what I want for this one is length. So notice that it's telling me that it's 76 feet 2 inches, and I could put it in the current units or architectural or whatever it happens to be. Just so happens that this drawing units are currently architectural. So I'll say OK, and you'll see that it puts that information in there. As far as the area of the concrete, I can do the same thing. Field, select the object. I'll actually select the hatch itself. I want to know the area. You can change the precision. You know, you can give it as much precision as you want. For what I'm doing here, I'll just leave it at that current precision of 0 and say OK. But again, it's not just dumb information. It knows that this is actually a field. So if my client were to come to me and say, you know what, that pool's just a little bit too big, could you make it smaller? I could simply jump in here and just for sake, I'm just going to pick a point and make it 7/8 of the original size. You can see there that it's now changed. Once I do a regen or a save, RE for regen, it's going to redo those calculations. So now my perimeter is 66 feet 7 3/4, and the area of the sidewalk is now 234 feet. So you can see that this using fields is a great way to save time and add intelligence to your drawings. There's lots of other things you can do with it. So if you have any questions, send me a note down below in the or ask a question in the chat section.